All right, so I'm going to go over and review some adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing of some fractions. You probably saw this in middle school, but this is just a quick overview. I'm not going to dive down deep into why all this works, although I think that's valuable. This is just for like a, oh, I forgot how this works. Let's get through it that way. So, when we are adding or subtracting fractions, like 1/5 plus 1/5, you can think of this as a piece of a pie, so like a fifth of the pie plus a fifth of the pie makes how many fifths of the pie? Makes 2/5 of the whole pie. So if we combine that and that, we'd have 2/5 filled in. All right? Now what makes that easy is that we have the same bottom piece. So we've divided it in the same amount of pieces. So common denominators are what we need for adding or subtracting fractions. Common denominators, right? So I talked about that before. So let me show you what happens if we don't have a common denominator. Let's say we've got like 2/3 plus, I don't know, 5/4. We have 2/3 plus 5/4. Notice this is an improper fraction. That's okay. So I can't just add straight across because these are not of the same pieces. If I drew a piece of pie, I have 2/3 filled in, and this is divided into, this is fourths, this is 1 1/4, so I've got one whole thing filled in, and then just one piece filled in. So that would be like this whole thing, and then this piece. And I can't add these because I don't know, they don't fit together that way. So what I need to do is force them, so I need to cut them up in specific ways so that I can add them evenly. All right, so what's that going to look like? Well, to get the common denominator, one quick and easy way to do it is we need to change the form of this. So I'm not actually changing the value, but I am going to change what it looks like. So I'd like these denominators to be the same. So I want this to change to a denominator, and this to change to a denominator that's the same. Easiest way to get there is to multiply each individual one by a special type of 1, the number 1. So it's a special type of 1. I'm going to multiply times 4 over 4. The reason I'm doing that is because when I multiply this times 4, I'm going to turn around and multiply this one times 3, and then those will be the same denominators. So remember, 4 over 4 is 1, so I'm not changing the value of this. And when I multiply, I'm going to multiply straight across. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 3 is 12. So now 2/3 is 8 over 12. If I simplify this, it's 2/3. Okay, same thing over here. I'm going to start with the plus sign. I'm going to multiply times, again, I'm multiplying times a special type of 1, so I'm not changing the value of this. I'm multiplying times 3 over 3. 5 times 3 is 15. 4 times 3 is 12. And just like that, we've got a common denominator. So we can add straight across now. 8 plus 15, that's going to be 23 over 12. And then from here, I simplify if possible. If I can divide both the top and the bottom number by the same number, then I can simplify it. But I can't here, because 23 is actually prime. I can't divide it by anything. And 12 doesn't go into 23 evenly. So our answer is this. And the same would apply if it was subtracting. If I was subtracting this, of course my answer would be different. I wouldn't have 23 anymore. It would be what? 8 minus 15, that's going to be what? Negative 7? Did I do that right? Negative 7? Yeah. Alright, so negative 7 over 12. And again, if I can simplify that, turns out that's prime as well. So I can't simplify any further, so this is my answer. So for adding or subtracting, it's the same process. The easiest, quickest way to do it is multiply times the other denominator over itself. Or sometimes you can find a quicker way. Quicker way would be this. Quicker way would be, if I've got like 10, 3. 3/10 plus 1/5. I can just make this the denominator of 10, because then I only need to multiply this one times 2 over 2, which is 1. So this becomes 2 over 10. This becomes 3 over 10. And that way I don't have to change this denominator. So sometimes you can find a shortcut. You don't have to. You can multiply this times 10 over 10 and this times 5 over 5, it just at the end, you're going to have to simplify more because of that. This becomes 5/10. Simplify that, it's 1/2, because if I divide by 5 here, divide by 5 here, 1/2. And that's adding and subtraction. And